What's going on, everybody, man? Welcome back to another video. Chelsea, I don't know what to really say anymore about this team. I mean, I love this team to death. I love the football club, but I just think there needs to be a time where just like enough is enough. I feel like as a fan base, we've drawn the line in the sand in how much we're going to be disrespected by the ownership group and all of that. Today's performance is just another reason why this team is so far off from winning anything. And like I mean anything in the Premier League, in Europe. I mean, the performance today, you take away the first, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes of this game, Chelsea were garbage. They were trash. They were atrocious. They were shit. They were god awful. Not enough risk taking, side to side passing, very wayward shot selection. Not getting balls in the box. Lee Senior has some outrageous comments to say after the game, man. And now he's starting to really get under my skin with how he's handling himself in press conferences and his excuses on why he's not making certain substitutions in certain moments of the game, right? I'm just in absolute freaking disgust, man. And I've had the whole day to think about this game. So we're gonna peek over at these lineups, right? And you're looking at the lineup that we put out there today. This lineup alone should be able to go out there and get 3 points, especially because Newcastle have something to play for on Wednesday night against Barcelona, where they can still go to the new camp and go beat Barcelona. It's possible, but are they going to do it? I feel like it is a little unlikely, but you never really know. This was an opportunity for Chelsea to take advantage of a Newcastle team that they did put out a pretty strong team, in my opinion. You have Anthony Gordon out there. You have Harvey Barnes, who I think is extremely underrated. Jacob Murphy is always a pest down that right hand side. Nick Woltemate had a pretty good game. I can see why they're playing him in that attacking midfield role, but he's a striker, man. He had a run in the second half where he shrugged off two or three players. I'm like, okay, that's why I where I can see him being that tall ass um, attacking midfielder that can just drive by players and shrug players off. But that's not his game. He's a finisher. He's a center forward. I want to see him play more up top, but they didn't need him to do that today. They just needed him to put in a shift in midfield and cover the spaces where Cole Palmer and Enzo Fernandez were going to try to pick up. You know, their back line really didn't have much to worry about because we were passing side to side. We weren't really threatening them. Yes, we had opportunities, we took shots and stuff like that, but it just wasn't good enough, right? And when you're spending 2 billion on a squad like this is the best that you can put out there. Now on paper, a lot of these players are good, but are they justifying the value that they're worth? No, a lot of these players aren't doing that right now. And to be quite honest, it's just a shambolic display of these players are looking like they're starting not to care because we all know about the open letter that Reece James had yesterday, right? But us as a fan base, we're not stupid, right? We're not dumb. We can see what's going on here. These owners are just allergic to wanting to actually get this team to the promised land, bring in some players that actually know how to get the job done. You know, it's just really difficult to watch this, man, because I wake up this morning and I'm geeked for every Chelsea game. It doesn't really matter on the form they're in. It's those 2 hours that I have where it's just like that's all that matters. And to continue to put out piss poor performances, you know, I'm out here in America, man. I have other things I can do with my mornings than watch Chelsea games, but it's a tradition I have, right? Don't make me ruin my own tradition by stop watching them because You guys aren't because the owners don't want to be ambitious, and the players are going to start to turn their heads to other clubs if they don't see this club being ambitious enough. This club is known to be a perennial Champions League team, a world power, and a European football power. Where the hell has this team gone in 4 years? In the gutter. That's where the fuck they have gone, right? And we're going to go over and check over a few of these things. There's also a post from this guy that I find to be absolutely ridiculous on Twitter also. So we're going to go over here, talk about Liam Rosenior's since he's joined, or these stats right here is what I want to talk about. Chelsea lose at home to Newcastle for the first time in 14 years. If you guys do remember, the last time they lost to Newcastle was 2-0 in 2012. The same year they won the Champions League, they lost to Newcastle at home. They're not winning the Champions League if anybody's trying to put two and two together. They're not winning it at all this season. They're gonna get knocked out, and they're gonna probably lose on Tuesday too. Don't expect Chelsea to win that game. If they do, holy shit! But it isn't happening. Chelsea's first defeat at home in the Premier League in March in 25 years. I was 7 years old when they last lost in March at home. Outrageous, outrageous, right? Chelsea have kept one clean sheet in their last 14 games. Yeah, because it doesn't matter what manager you're bringing in. It can be him, Pep, Jurgen Klopp, Pochettino, Carlo Ancelotti. They're not going to be able to solve this defense. This defense is fucking terrible, man. Right? And then this is another thing I wanted to pull up here, right? And I pointed this out during the game while I was watching it, right? And I just found it to be absolutely shambolic of the state of affairs that this defense has, right? I wish the clip was here, but I would get copyrighted. But we're looking at this picture right here, right? Look how wide open he is. The run from Joe Willock, bro, right? Now you can't see Tino Livramento. I think if I moved it up a little bit, it'll show, but Tino Livramento starts from right here, right? Drives about 10, 15 yards up the pitch, sees how split Chalaba and Wesley Fofana is. Why are your center backs so split in between? Why is there so much space? You can blame the manager for that, but that's individual accountability and responsibility as a center half. There's no excuse to be that split. Now, the way that Newcastle set up with having two up top, you're going to force both of your center halves, both of their center halves to split, right? But again, Chalaba is behind the play, so he's out of position. Wesley Fofana at that point needs to tuck in, shift in, because now Reece James has to make a recovery run in order to try to stop Joe Willock from crossing the ball or even scoring. You know, you got Caicedo right here. You know, he's already out of the play because this pass from Tino Livramento takes out one, two, three, four, five, six Chelsea players, seven Chelsea players. That's over half the starting 11. One pass took out seven players. And people want to keep saying that we don't need center halves, that players like Wesley Fofana, once again getting booked, should be in the starting 11. I don't understand it. I just do not understand it. And we're not blaming the midfield at all for this because realistically, the center half should be intercepting a pass like that. There's no reason why Joe Willock should be even remotely close to being in behind. Plus, people want to say he was offside. He wasn't offside. If you pay attention to how he made the run, he bent his run in so he can meet the ball. Like if the clip were to play back, he meets the ball in stride because he bends his run inside a little bit so he can stay on side. An inexperienced player is going to keep making the run. An experienced Premier League player like Joe Willock is going to bend his run a little bit so he can stay on side. This is what I'm saying, man. This team is a shambles defensively, and it's starting to get to the point where offensively, you're a championship side at best. You're not clinical enough. You're not taking opportunities, right? And I want to be able to find the passage of play, man, that I saw today from Chelsea, where from the 28th minute to about the 31st, bro, they had this passage of play that was that made me want to rip my eyes out, right? Made me want to rip my fucking eyes out, dude. But if I find it, I'll do it in my next video about how frustrating tactically Chelsea set up. But another thing I wanted to bring up here, man, is this. I mean, Liam Rosenior, once again, with some questionable comments after the game. I mean, honestly, bro, you're better off just not saying anything because you're only making it worse for yourself with what you're saying. And if the board is telling you to say these things respectfully, bro, you just need to tell them to shove it where the sun don't shine. Because when you start bringing up the form table, it already feels like he's on the back foot. It feels like it's way too early to be doing this. He's only been in the job really for what, 2 months? Third in the form table when you factor in the new manager bounce. Is that something to is that something to shout? It really isn't, right? Because if you look at the performances under him, a lot of the wins we're getting are we're coming back in games. The only team that we've really ripped up was Aston Villa. Every other game that we've had under Liam Rosenior, maybe the Napoli game, because in the second half we actually did play very, very well. But the first half we were god awful. So that's the story of Liam Rosenior and Chelsea is this version of Chelsea under Liam Rosenior is bipolar FC. You don't know which version is going to show up. You can get the version that showed up in Paris for 75 minutes, or you can get the version that showed up today at the bridge and doesn't want to have any attacking threat really, and you're wide open at the back. That's how bipolar this team is, and it's just a disgrace, man. It's just crazy to me. I mean, it's stressful. It really is because there's teams in the league that would love to be fifth or sixth in the Premier League right now, man. Like they absolutely would take that, but for us, that's not the target. The target should not just be getting top four and being satisfied with that. What happened to the winning mentality and the ambition? What happened to it? It's not here anymore. These owners don't know what the hell they're doing. And there's there was a clip of Todd Bowley today, right, where they showed him up in the stands, and he looks like he was shaking in his boots, bro. Like I mean, I think it's right here. I think he even knows he's out of his depth. His depth. Look at this man. Look at this man. And like this is the only guy in the consortium that I actually feel like actually has the mentality to want to go get the best players and win. He tried doing that when he was the acting sporting director, but the fans back then were like, no, he's doing too much. He's wasting all this money on all these bad players and stuff like that. Yes, he did. Sterling, right? Mikhailo Mudryk, who I still have some type of belief in. Enzo Fernandez, who I'm going to get to in a second here, right? Moises Caicedo, was that a bad signing? Right? That's what I'm saying. I don't understand. I mean, I understand why people are saying that he wasn't like the best sporting director, but at least he showed ambition to go get certain players. The current board don't even want to go do that. They're not trying to go anywhere near players with experience. And people want to shit on Todd Bowley. At least he went to go try to go get some type of experience. At least he tried, right? When Thomas Tuchel was here, at least he tried to go get Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, right? He got Raheem Sterling. Were those the best signings at the time? No, but it showed the type of ambition he had to at least go get some type of players for the manager. It just was unfortunate that him and Thomas Tuchel clash heads. It happens between the board. It happened with Enzo Maresca and the board here too. It happened with Pochettino. It's gonna probably at some point happen with Lemur Senior, bro. Like this board doesn't want anybody with a backbone to be at the club. This is why Chelsea are gonna stay in the position they're in for a pretty long time if they don't if they don't actually get it going and get the right players in, they're not gonna go anywhere anytime soon. So we're gonna go over to this post here, and like I've had an issue honestly with this guy for about. I mean, not personally, I don't know him, but I just had issues with his posts recently. So I'm gonna go ahead and shoot over here, right? So this guy CFC JNR, he's pretty active on here. I find a lot of his takes to be kind of wild because I don't think he's looking at the. I feel like he looks at the players more than he like looks at the board, honestly. But I'm gonna go ahead and read what he said and just give you my thoughts on it because I think it's bullcrap, dude. The 31st of January 2023, every manager of Chelsea since this tragic day where 105 million was wasted had tried to find solutions to the problem this man brings. 3 years later, there is still no answer to Enzo Fernandez. You simply cannot have him in your midfield if you want to do anything serious in English football. Premier League is not for him. He is a good player, would look class in another league, but English football, every team that is a professional club will have academy boys that can run straight through this man. Chelsea have their defense exposed, and Caicedo, who isn't a complete 6'2 number six, has to try his best to cover for this man's weakness, but it's almost impossible. He has to be sold. We can make our money back. Go use it on someone who can protect the team and still progress play, and also cover Palmer and let him be free. Like Elliot Anderson will be a transformative signing, like Declan Rice for Arsenal. Otherwise, we won't win anything. So this guy right here It I I just find it to be ridiculous, honestly. I find this post to be crazy to me. So I went ahead and I commented it. This is what I said, honestly, but I mean, I'm just like live reacting like to reading these comments. This is this take on Enzo is wild. This is an agenda driven take. No fan who values intelligence or quality of footballers would say Enzo is the problem. He has been one of our best performers this season, only leader in minutes played, rarely injured, always available. That alone is elite in a squad full of players who can't stay fit. He's top tier in chance creation, progression, ball security, and build up across the EPL and Europe. Every major club would take him tomorrow. He walks into almost any 11 in the world, and he does, honestly. He also is the only player in the squad who actually knows anything about what he looks like. He's a leader, world class, not a liability. Selling him would be madness. We lose our most reliable midfielder, our only proven winner, our best passer, our only real leader. And I'm not going to say that he's the only real leader on the team, but I can see what you're saying. The only player who raises the technical floor and knowing Blue Coat's recruitment patterns, we're not replacing him with anyone better. You don't strengthen by selling your best players. That's how you get weaker, not stronger. If anything, the problems aren't Enzo. They're the structure around him. Put him in a functional system and he works and he looks world class because he is. I mean, I'm gonna be real, man, and I'm gonna leave this here. So there's a lot I'm gonna say about this because this is one of the players that I rate the highest in the team, right? And I feel like I know what I'm talking about when I watch like the sport of football. And is Enzo Fernandez the most physical midfielder? No. Nobody is going to put him in a top 10 list of the most physical midfielders in Europe or the Premier League. He's not in that category. What he is a ball possession midfielder that has the technical ability to do something special, has a shot on him, can be dynamic in certain areas of the pitch, is a bit tricky to deal with if you've never played against him, and his line breaking passes and his passing ability is world class. I've said for the longest time he reminds me of Cesc Fabregas. Now, people are going to say, "Oh, you're fucking crazy, Jason. You don't know what you're talking about." Cesc Fabregas wasn't the most physical midfielder. Honestly, he wasn't a physical midfielder at all. He was a finesse midfielder that played in part of one of the greatest club teams of all time. He was part of that team. He came to Chelsea and he proved his class again. He was at Arsenal, played well there. That's what got him the move to Barcelona. But the way that Enzo Fernandez plays, the elegance on the ball, the passing ability. Now, the other player that I compare him to in a sense, because only because of the box crashing ability, is Frank Lampard. Because we all remember Frank. He would arrive in the box late and get on the end of those cutbacks. Any balls that came out towards the box, he was right there to take the shot. Enzo had a shot on goal today that if Palmer wasn't in the way, he's probably scoring that goal. Stamford Bridge is in limbs, and we're probably having a different conversation right now. But we're not going to blame that moment on why Chelsea lost. Chelsea lost because they were atrocious today. Chelsea lost because it's looking like these players are now starting to get to the point mentally where they know that the fans are going to get on them for every single mistake they make. There's no reason to be playing the ball side to side for 3 minutes straight and not putting the ball in the box. There's no excuse. Not when you're getting paid that kind of money. Not when you're on those kind of contracts. Not when we're over here paying subscription services and paying to go to these games. No, you guys don't get to do that. You guys need to put on a show for us at the end of the day. Be entertaining, take a chance, take a risk, be dynamic, put the ball in the back of the net. That's all we're asking. That's all we're asking for. But Liam Rosenior, again, just questionable subs for me. I understand you're looking at PSG on Tuesday. Cool, fine. We're not going to win that game. If we win, we're not going to advance anyway. Liam Delap, bro. You come onto the pitch. You have an opportunity. Now he came on the pitch immediately and rolled his defender and actually got a good shot off. Cool. That was his best moment. He hasn't done anything. Like like the conversation about if he needs to be sold. No, he's going to be sold in the summer. I don't want to hear the whole, oh, like we need to back him, injuries have played a part. No. When he's on the pitch and he's been back for a while, he hasn't looked good. I keep saying this. If we have Nicholas Jackson in this team, I don't think we're having the same issues. Nicholas Jackson, if I'm being real, is probably putting away that chance today that Liam Delap had right in front of him on his left foot where he's leaning back when all you need to do is get your foot on top of the ball and just guide it into that corner. That's all you got to do. But instead, he's leaning back, already thinking about the celebration. The guy doesn't care. Like, it's just how I feel about him. I don't think he cares. And I don't think he's cut out to wear the badge. Now, I've never played the sport professionally. I'm giving my opinion. And what I've seen this season, he's not cut out to wear the Chelsea shirt. And quite honestly, a lot of these players that were out there today just aren't cut out to wear the shirt. The last thing I'm going to speak on here is Cole Palmer. Brother, it's been since I would probably say the very beginning of the season. We have not seen you all season. Now, you've been injured. I get that part. But since you've been back, where are you, bro? Like, where are you? Like, the entire fan base is trying to find you right now. You've been missing since you've came back. Yeah, you've had a hat trick. You've had a few assists in games. You've scored some penalties. Cool. But your general play, what you're doing in between the lines, where are you, bro? I see you there on the pitch, but are you here? I mean, it's just sad to see because we all know how great of a player he is, and it's just becoming a almost routine thing every single week. You know Palmer's not going to have a good game, and we would be foolish to say that we made a mistake in buying him because we did not make a mistake. We all know how good he is. I just think he's mentally shot, bro. I think that's what it is with him right now. This is why I said, where is he? We can't seem to find him, and he's physically there, but mentally, I don't think he's there. I think he's gone, right? And I think he's already looking at next season, and he's looking at the World Cup. I don't think he's looking at this Chelsea season right now. And I'm not going to accuse him. I'm not going to accuse him of saying like he doesn't care about every game that's coming up. But I think mentally, knowing where they are in the table, I think he's more along the lines of like, I don't know if I can do it by I can't do this by myself. The rest of the team around me has to get it going. But if you're not getting it going, man, the rest of the team are going to find it very difficult to get it going. And when Chelsea are ticking and they're putting the ball in the back of the net and they're taking a chance, he's generally the centerpiece of what is going on around that. And we've seen it, and as Chelsea fans, we've all have come to expect that from him because the first two seasons you set the bar high for yourself. And to see how far he's dropped off this season with the injuries and all that, you just hope that he figures it out. But one last thing I want to get onto before um, I get out of here is I want to pull up my channel page here. And I really want to appreciate everybody that has been showing me love lately, man. Right now, I'm at 861, and it's really, really nice to see that people are enjoying my content. They're enjoying getting engaged. Keep it up. Keep on liking the videos. Keep sharing. Keep on doing that. It means a lot, and I'm gonna keep on trying to pump out all this content. I have a lot of footballing opinions. I think you guys would love to hear. I have some cool video ideas specifically about a team that is fighting relegation in the championship that I do want to talk about because I do find it a bit crazy that a team that won the Premier League in 2015 and were challenging for Champions League spots not too long ago find themselves almost out of the championship. I'm going to be doing a video on Leicester City in a few days. I need to do some stuff on that, but I do want to talk about them and talk about how far they have fallen. But I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Chelsea lose at the bridge 1-0 to Newcastle. Anthony Gordon goal, 18th minute on a shambolic defensive display once again. And yeah, I mean, Chelsea are screwed. They cannot afford to drop any more points. If they want to save a European spot, they can't drop any more points. Everton lost a heartbreaking game today. They're going to want some blood next weekend. And Chelsea going to Everton, it's not Goodison Park anymore, but just going to Everton in general is never easy. So my preview for that will be later in the week. Don't know if I'm going to do a preview for PSG versus Chelsea at the bridge. I'm really not in the mood to do that just because what the aggregate scoreline is, but I might do a short. But with that being said, I'm Jason, no filter Chelsea. I'm gonna get up out of here. It's almost 10:30 at night out here. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. Peace. Up to Chelsea. Keep the blue flag flying high. Blue co out. Like, comment, sub, share these videos. I'm out. Peace.